From the title, you can gather that I'm going to talk about my pregnancy story version 2021. If you haven't heard my prior IVF story in detail before, you can click on the link right up there to hear it via whispering ASMR. Otherwise, you can stay here and I can give you a quick synopsis. Back in 2019, my husband and I went on an IVF journey to have my baby boy Victor in Los Angeles. We were really fortunate that we got pregnant on the first try and had a large reserve of embryos in storage. A quick word from Nakano Knife. I'm loving shucking corn with my new Japanese Nakano knife. Its handle is made from high-quality natural olive wood and is a favorite among Michelin chefs and TV cooking stars globally. Check out the discount code and link in the description box for your Nakano knife from the Mito series. So IVF was probably the most physically taxing journey that I have ever experienced, with a ton of medication, a slew of injections, doctors, checkups, surgeries, etc. We chose to have IVF done at the swankiest place that I've ever been to, completely by accident, because it was located down the street from me and it was just convenient. How do I know that it was fancy? Well, the waiting room was filled with all Asians, likely Chinese based off of my limited knowledge of the language, and based off all the luxury handbags in every direction that you could see. My guess was that this hospital catered to a well-to-do Chinese demographic, possibly because prenatal gender testing isn't allowed in their countries. The strangest part of the most recent 2021 and 2019 IVF experiences was my embryos were transferred to their home, my womb, without my husband even being present. My husband had business meetings for Victor's transfer. For the most recent embryo transfer, my husband stayed back in Texas with Victor, and I went alone to Los Angeles. The other interesting thing about IVF is the genetic testing. It's insanely advanced. With just a little bit of saliva, the hospital can cross-check my husband and my genes to prevent any recessive genetic abnormalities from being passed down to our children. It's not 100%, but it's pretty effective. The easy part is testing for gender. My IVF clinic flat out told us how many girls and boys were in our mix. In my case, we had 2 boys and 3 girls and 1 mystery embryo. We absolutely wanted a minimum of a girl and a boy, and ultimately, we decided on having a protective big brother figure come first, and figured that we'd have some time to figure out what to do next after seeing how the first IVF transfer and pregnancy went. I know in other countries it's against the law to reveal the gender of the embryos. There are a lot of cultures that very clearly favor one gender over another. If you think of the one-child policy and how that has changed the landscape of certain countries, then you understand what I'm talking about. Fortunately, based on my friend group in the US, Americans generally just want a healthy child, be it a male or a female. So back to my latest IVF experience. After about a year, we started thinking about growing our family and giving Victor a sibling with about 2 years apart. We originally planned to get pregnant again around the summer of 2020, But with the panini happening, I didn't feel comfortable traveling from Dallas to Los Angeles to have another embryo transfer or to travel with a 1-year-old infant for an extended amount of time. I just wanted to keep my little boy safe and away from sickness. So we put off growing our family until early 2021 when I was able to get vaccinated. From then, I felt comfortable enough to book my flight to Los Angeles, where my embryos are stored, and begin the fertility drug treatment to accept embryos. So off I went by myself to transplant my eggies. It was truly emotional and stressful thinking about all the time I spent in anticipation of this moment. My husband stayed back with my son while I took the quickest 1.5-day trip to Los Angeles and then right back to Dallas. It was a little strange to travel like that. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, would the embryos be okay? Should I get 2 seats? Wait, it's just me. My future kitties would still be inside me. I didn't mention, I had 2 embryos transferred. Twins! Can you guess which genders I chose? I'll let you know at the end of the video. So while I was in Los Angeles, I took the opportunity to revisit my old stomping grounds in Pasadena. My soul was filled with happiness as I saw palm trees slowly swaying in the breeze. I loved catching glimpses of the mountains in the background that would pop up out of nowhere when I least expected it. While walking around Old Town, which is a shopping area in Old Town, Pasadena, I took my time admiring architectural features that I once took for granted, but looking at them closely made them all the more special. I also discovered new stores and restaurants that opened since I moved to Dallas. I felt appreciative of the old experiences and new ones as well. My little family created so many memories in the city. Of course, I couldn't resist eating at my favorite restaurants, especially sushi-grade poke bowls as a last hurrah before becoming pregnant. The salmon, ahi tuna, and baby scallops were so fresh and plump. I love covering the seafood mix with wasabi mayo and ponzu sauce. The produce in California is so fresh and cheap compared to Texas. Also, this particular poke joint is so generous with the sides, like crab meat salad and seaweed salad and edamame. Another low-key chill spot I like is next to the very first Trader Joe's in the country. Yes, in the country. This little place next to Trader Joe's serves up the best zucchini fries with good ranch. The homemade kind. If you know, you know. It was good to reconnect with old friends and old school coworkers. We picked up right where we left off, seeing how big their children have grown, seeing updates on their houses, catching up on all the juicy school work gossip. It also feels like watching their kids grow up is the only indication of the passage of time. I'm back in Texas now, but Pasadena will always be in my heart. Thank you for listening about my adventures and for coming along my family's journey. For those of you who stuck around for the reveal, here's what we transferred.